All right, that wasn't a happy meditation, but the result of this meditation makes you happy. It's good for your this life, it's good for your future life. Makes you happy because you feel like, oh, I'm doing something. Finally, I'm doing something for others. For future life, you're not developing bad habits, bad karma. So, result of this meditation, and always, right, a kind mind or compassionate mind means like, in order to develop those qualities, you have to really think about negative side, suffering, bad situation, because you have to feel it. And then through that, you can develop genuine, a kind mind and compassion. So the result of this negative thinking, you can develop your capacity and you feel your heart, that your heart open more and very compassionate. Buddha always say that understand compassion is good, but you have to become a compassionate person. Means we have to do something for others. So anyway, that's very important, not only for today, but we have to think seriously and what should we do for others is a great practitioner. Opening prayer of the four boundless qualities. May all sentient beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be parted from the sublime bliss that is free from suffering. May they remain in a state of equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all sentient beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be parted from the sublime bliss that is free from suffering. May they remain in a state of equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all sentient beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and cause of suffering. May they never be parted from this blind bliss that is free from suffering. May they remain in a state of equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. Good afternoon. Okay, again, ego. All day. Ready? Yes. First of all, everybody wants happiness. But happiness, we say, I want happiness. He wants happiness. But happiness is not just a goal, It is the process of what we do in our daily life. So therefore, the practice of meditation is a great opportunity to understand the situation of others and ourselves, and great opportunity to have happiness. The practice of meditation is developing our own positive inner wisdom, because through that we will get our happiness. So the point is, having received the teachings and practicing, we should try to remember our Dharma practice rather than being very selfish. And in order to help others, we need to have true love and compassion. Compassion, as you know, compassion is understanding the situations of others, and true love is the action of the compassion. So as soon as we generate an attitude of love and compassion, we naturally sort of want to help. That is the kind of result of practice, compassion, love and compassion. But when the mind is influenced by selfishness, there is not much authentic kindness. And genuine happiness does not come from having an ego mind, which is thinking sort of I am a special person, then I'm not connecting with others, right? So then I can't help others. If you I think if you are not connecting with others, it's very difficult to help. What makes you not connect with others? Selfishness, ego mind. Think I'm a special person. I want this. This I deserve this. This. So you make yourself very special with this, what you call it, negative emotion, pride. So then you're not connecting with others. You can't share your life with others. Maybe you can share, but it's kind of fake, It's not genuine. You're sharing with your life with others, but it's not genuine. So you can't actually, without kind mind, you can't share actually with things that with others. So when we try to help others, this is important to know, consideration of the number of beings. So again, Patrul Rinpoche said, if many beings would be helped and few harmed, you should act to benefit the many. But if many would be harmed and few helped, do not act. If the numbers and the help and harm would be equal, by relying on teachings of skillful methods of protection from harm, you will succeed in helping. So this is easy to understand, right? Just a consideration of the numbers. Easy. And another important consideration is the consideration of this and future lives. This life, future life. Again, Patrul Rinpoche said, if it would benefit others in both this life and future life, you should act to benefit them. Whenever it would benefit neither life, you should not act, of course, right? If it would help in this life, how about this? Help in this life, but harm in future lives, future ones. Do not act. It makes sense if you believe in future life. Makes sense, right? So, and Patrul Rinpoche also said, even if it would harm in this life, if it would help in the future lives, being skillful with methods to protect this life from harm, you should act to benefit the future lives. So this all means, for instance, let's take example like if we eat meat again, that means we're going to develop a bad habit, right? I would say bad habit means bad karma, so that we will be born a being who only eats meat in our future lives, if you believe in future lives. And we also directly harm others in this life, which is animals' life. We harm them directly, right? But so about eat meat, we harm for our future lives. We helped a little bit in this life, right? For us, if you eat delicious meat. Some are good for your body, some are not, but help a little bit. So, but we really harmed on our future lives because think about this. In this life, we create a habit of eating meat all the time. In our future life, we could be reborn as a blue whale. That's he always, Kanchen Tsurimlo do, one of the best student of Kanchen Jigme Panso. He is the number one in Tibet, make everybody being vegetarian. He always give us example like the blue whale. We could be reborn as a blue because, we create a habit of eating meat all the time, this life. So the Buddhism, we use karma, but karma means bad habit. So if we eat meat all the time, this life, we create bad karma, means bad habit. So that habit goes in our consciousness, so it goes into future life. So that means we have this habit. So control that habit. Our consciousness is born into, for instance, blue whale. So now think of how many beings a blue whale eats and kills every single day. According to science, I heard that scientists said that they can eat thousands of pounds of kill little fish every day. Thousands every day, right? So how, now think about how can we, if we be born into this kind of animal, only eat meat, then how can we purify that kind of habit, karma, strong, like, negative karma? How can we purify that? Life after life, many, many years, we cannot purify that because stone, it's, bad habit. It's very, very difficult to purify, So this is what Patrul Rinpoche is talking about by harming future lives. If eating meat brings a small sort of benefit to us in this life, but in future life we find ourselves a huge amount of negative karma, so we should not act according to Patrul Rinpoche instructions. If we think about it that way, it's not only bad for animals if we eat their meat, right? It's also very bad for us, for our future life. We can develop good things like capacities. We can, like one time there's a story, Buddha was born in Hilron, and he had a kind mind. So that's why he understands the suffering of others, so he can exchange. He took others' suffering and give up his life. That kind of happens. If you develop a kind mind, you are going to carry that on life after life. That another like habit. If you create a negative karma, that you're going to carry, life after life. So it is going to cause us great suffering, more and more in each life, right? So that is not small thing, but it is very important and very serious for us to consider. And this is right now, we are very fortunate. We have precious human life, and we have other good things, and it's not necessarily to eat or harm others directly. So it's very important to understand these instructions. Helped a little bit, but harmed in future. We should not act. So we need to be careful and think about these things. Never forget. We should not, if we care, our future. Some people don't believe, that's a different story, right? But as a Buddhist, especially Mahayana practitioners, we want to help limit way, sort of life after life. That's we believe. If we right now we don't have capacity to help others, but if we develop that capacity, we can help others in the future life. So that's our goal. So it's very important for other beings and for ourselves. So I think it is important to investigate ourselves and determine whether we are going to stop eating meat or not. So by investigation and following this criteria, we will begin to reduce the defects of our mind, and we are able to reduce the defects of the the mind, then its good qualities increase. Do you remember this Kadamba master, Domtomba? He was saying, if you don't change your mental attitude, which are your old habits of attachment, which is grasping at objects, then no matter what you do, you will not find a kind mind. So if we don't change our mind, no matter how many external changes we make, we will never progress along the spiritual path. So I think this is important to know. And if we are acting out of selfishness, all our spiritual efforts will lead us nowhere, as I said. It is something that we have to really think about and make sure we should not harm our future lives, and we should make our practice meaningful. And we should benefit others through our practice. If we consider sort of ourselves as an Mahayana, authentic Mahayana practitioner. As you know, for Mahayana practitioners, the first, this is very important, the first target is selfishness. What is characteristic of Mahayana practice? That is it. First target is selfishness. All the masters said that a bodhisattva without a selfish mind, who out of kind of mind and for the sake of others can commit any of the the 10 negative virtues, actions, such as killing, stealing, etc., right? If they have a right motivation, then bodhisattvas should act. And by doing that, they make a great deal of merit. So virtue is unvirtuous, not on outside. It's in your mind. So for example, you know this story. There is a story about one of the Buddha's past life when he was a captain of a ship. Do you remember this story where in the What Am My Perfect Teacher? What Am I Perfect, by the way, it's great teachings. It's very good for us. When you read about the 6 realms, about the characters of suffering of this, sometimes it makes you uncomfortable. Other than that, it's the great teaching on mind training by Patrul Rinpoche. So anyway, and then this, What Am I Perfect Teacher? There is a Buddha's story in a past life, he was a captain of ship. And there was a sailor on that ship and who was planning on killing all the 500 other people on the ship. And Buddha knew what his plan was. And he also knew that the other sailors on the ship were bodhisattvas, who has a kind mind, who has a bodhicitta mind. So if this one sailor killed them, all of these 500 people, he would, gather a huge amount of negative karma. So out of compassion, the Buddha killed him. Do you remember this? Buddha killed him. He think I'm going to kill this person Because if he killed the other people who are bodhisattvas, and then he make a great amount of negative karma. So I'm probably going to suffering because I'm going to kill him. But it's better one person suffering. So out of compassion, Buddha killed him. So you see, usually we think of killing as a very negative action, right? But in this situation, no, this is because of his motivation. Because it was a positive action. So this is great, as I said, these teachings, Patrul Rinpoche, how to help others, is very good teachings, because then we know we can develop our wisdom, how to help others correctly, right? But if you think this is too much, I don't know, or lack of wisdom, then one thing, you never forget, whatever you do, try to help, try to harm, whatever, check inside, motivation. So if your motivation mixed with ego, then maybe you have half virtue, half unvirtue. Usually that's what we have. But if your motivation is completely pure, 100% pure, you can kill other people, you can steal, whatever you want. Means, based on your kind mind, based on bodhicitta mind, even though you kill a person, not necessarily negative karma or unvirtue, because your motivation. If you try to help and based on your ego mind, your help is not necessarily virtue. So easy to understand. This is easy to understand. People ask many times, like, what should I do? This and this, this and that. Check your motivation. That's all. It's very easy answer, for their questions, easy. So if your motivation mixed with your selfishness, this ego mind, don't do it. If pure, kind mind, out of compassion, do it. So it's easy. Easy to understand, right? Not easy to do, right? But easy to understand what is right, what is wrong. So, however, we should be careful, because one must have the capacity and correct motivation to be able to act in this way, As it says in the 20 verses on the vows, and whoever has loving heart, there is no non-virtue. Whoever has a loving heart, there is no non-virtue. So we might see people making a chariot, for instance, and think how wonderfully generous they are. But all we see is the external action. That's all we see. We can't see their inner motivation, so which can be totally loving, caring, or can be totally selfish. We just don't know inside their motivation. So when we think about positive and negative actions, we are actually thinking about a bodhicitta mind. Positive action, bodhicitta mind. Negative action, selfish mind. Because those are the cause of our actions. If we have bodhicitta mind, we have positive actions. Selfish mind, negative actions. So that's, which actions are positive, which actions are negative, you know. For instance, how do you know your meditation is positive? How do you know your meditation is positive? It doesn't depend on the meditation in itself. It is your motivation for doing it. So, I think most time, usually our meditation is like neutral, It is neither positive nor negative, like just kind of like we have a good, kind mind there, but all at the same time, this ego mind there, right? So if we're trying to practice Dharma, but whatever we do with our body, speech, and mind is contrary to our practice, then our practice doesn't really become Dharma. So that's fault of selfish attitude. That's why investigating the motivation is very important. Our actions do not become a virtue if we are following the selfish attitude. So every day, life problems come from not having the right attitude. The right and wrong attitude depends on our motivation. Motivation gives us the ability to examine our own mind to see if our thinking is positive or negative. So we're capable of this. So we have to know how our negative mind works and how to change our mind and diminish our ego mind. Otherwise, how can we correct our actions and put ourselves into right path? And therefore, motivation is very the, point, the key. So when we have had some experience of our own good attitude, we will recognize our potential. So Buddhism, we don't teach you, Buddha is up there and you just have to believe in him, then you will be fine. You will get the blessings, and he can help you destroy your obstacles. We don't teach like that. We never teach like that. As you know, we just start with our personal situations, means like investigate our minds, which is stronger than which, positive, negative, ego mind, kind mind. That's how we start. That's Buddhists teach, And these are the destroyer, right? Destroyers such as selfishness. We have desire, anger, jealousy. Jealousy is very bad, I think. Usually, when I think about jealousy usually develops if somebody's somebody have more wealth than me, I get jealous. Somebody's beautiful than me, it doesn't make any sense, right? Angry sometimes makes sense because you harm me, I get angry. Makes sense. There's a point, right? But jealous, it no makes sense. I have this beautiful computer and I got jealous. So this kind of thing, this sounds kind of, silly, negative emotions, because selfish make these things, because I want the best, I am the best. So that kind of thing, we teach Buddhism, we teach, these kind of things, explain how develop ego, and then what the other negative emotions, desire, anger, jealous, pride, ignorance, that kind of thing. So so you cannot actually reject this kind of teachings, because they describe our own situation, we must follow, I think, maybe I'm selfish, but if somebody's telling us the truth and the correct way to explain the details of our mind, then how can we say it is difficult to understand? My mind is not like that. Our mind is very, very, very much like that, right? Desire, attachment, anger, jealousy. These are very easy to understand. We can feel it. We can, So then Buddhism talk about what is the antidote? How do we purify? How can we diminish all of that? That's kind of, we're talking like that. We're not talking you have to believe something there and then you will be okay. We're not saying like that. We're talking about these things like our personal experience about our minds, And we can teach people about, the problems they face every day in their lives, and the nature of true sort of human suffering, I think. And then we can continue to lead a normal life, but at the same time, try to reduce our negative emotions. Also, at the same time, enjoy our worldly life as much as we can. As I said, usually like in ancient time, in India and Tibet, worldly person and spiritual person are very different, right? But 21st century, we probably can do this both. We can, enjoy our worldly life. At the same time, we can develop our kind mind. But Buddha also said it's very important to understand the nature of our enjoyment, the nature of both object we are enjoying and the mind that is experiencing, right? Experiencing that enjoyment. The relationship between these two, very important to understand. If you understand all of that, these things deeply, what do you call that? That's what we call what is the practice, our practice. So if you understand the subject, the mind, an object, enjoyment, the relation, if you understand the relationship between these two, and you never forget that, that's our practice. That's why these teachers say you can develop a kind mind, but at the same time, enjoy your worldly life. And we are, if we are following our selfish attitude, then when somebody hurt us, we cannot even remember what kind of meditation we should, practice at that time. Even though we, receive all kinds of teaching, mind trainings from different teachers. But when we sort of encounter these kind of problems, we cannot even remember the teachings we have received. Why is that? When you get angry, we all get angry, right? We experience that. Do you remember at that time? Do you remember your practice? Do you remember when you really get angry? Do you remember the teachings? I don't. Just some reason, just nothing is there. Why is that? It's because Buddhist point of view, follow in our selfish attitude. You don't listen your wisdom voice. You listen this selfish ego voice. So then ego voice tells us the opposite of practice Dharma. So that's why we forget. When you get angry, then we forget all this kind of mind training teachings. We forget. We never. Yeah. So the first thing we have to do in our daily life is to change our negative attitude. What is that? Selfishness. All of these afflictions, as I said, these afflictions arise because of selfishness. And then it prevents us from seeing the nature of things. And through not knowing that, this openness, nature, our ego mind gets really stronger, and then we become more selfish person. We gradually develop this, and then our selfish mind stronger, and then a lot of problems can arise. And then what happened? Then we will become an irritable person. Remember the 7-point mind training? How become irritable person? Because of this selfishness. Irritable person means, who is bothered by everything. Even something good happen, don't see it. Then we are further and further. We're very far away from enlightenment. Right? Are you sleepy? When we talk about enlightenment, what is enlightenment? Can you give me a characteristic of enlightenment? I think there is a bit of difference between Buddhist idea of enlightenment and Westerners' idea of enlightenment. Are they different? Shouldn't be? Good luck. Well,
I think there's a shift in awareness. Like when you see those pictures where there's a vase and a face on a piece of paper and a frame, and all you see is the vase, and then suddenly something shifts and you suddenly see the face, and it was there all the time, but you never saw it. And yet we're sitting here right now. We are in emptiness. This is emptiness. This is enlightenment. And we just don't notice it.
That is not Westerners' idea of enlightenment.
Was that what I'm supposed to answer?
You're supposed to answer what is different between Buddhist idea of enlightenment and Westerners' idea of enlightenment. What is your point of view, the character, what is the characteristic of enlightenment? When you heard this enlightenment word, right, when you were like this much, what is that enlightenment? Knowledge? Okay, just like intellectual knowledge?
Everything's blissful.
Everything, what is, okay, give me,
Blissful.
blissful.
Yeah. And the American,
I'm talking about Western idea of enlightenment.
yeah, to be in bliss. Yeah, Western.
That's not nothing about like spiritual idea.
No, it would be like everything is easy to do when if you're.
Okay, see, that's not Buddhist idea of enlightenment. That's right. Okay, all right. Yeah, you were enlightenment. Your idea, the Western idea of enlightenment, is gaining understanding, right? Knowing. Okay. I think that's good. That's good. I think that this is for ordinary people, I think. And is an ordinary kind of enlightenment, right? I mean, from Buddhist, I can tell you this, from Buddhist teachings, enlightenment is much harder to attain, right? Because enlightenment, Buddhist idea enlightenment, we have to diminish the ego mind. That's it. That's not how you understand of the enlightenment, right? Buddhist enlightenment is so easy to say because once you diminish the ego mind, you become enlightenment, attain enlightenment. So,
So are you saying that the work behind enlightenment that's what's important?
well, right, yeah, ego mind. When you diminish your ego mind, you have no ego, selfishness at all.
So isn't the result blissfulness?
I'm not sure what do you mean by blissfulness.
You have a quiet, open space in your mind. And it becomes natural for you to be kind and compassionate towards other beings.
Or are you talking about Buddhist enlightenment? Are you? Okay, yes.
Okay.
The realization, Buddhist realization,
Wisdom.
which is result of diminished ego mind,
Right.
wisdom.
I'm not sure that Westerners can really, I think when we begin to think of enlightenment, it's something that's beyond us. We're thinking that sometime we'll figure it out, or it'll happen, or it's something that we can't understand at this point. We just can't understand it. I mean, that's the whole point.
Okay.
I always thought enlightenment was kind of like heaven, or that I'd be sort of godlike.
Well, thank you. You're godlike now, aren't you?
Okay, there's so many different characteristics of enlightenment. Also, Buddhist, enlightenment is realization of the truth. So that means there is no longer any sort of clinging to duality. Therefore, there is a true, peace. Remember these 4 seals of Dharma. The last one is the Nirvana is peace. So that is the result of the diminish of our ego mind. So it's the realization of true nature of our mind. That is the nirvana. It is peace.
So does that mean that our personality changes completely?
Yeah, personality, yes. Negative thoughts transform into positive thoughts. That's that, right? And then eventually you have to go beyond both positive and negative. Buddhism is no longer exist when you attain enlightenment. There's no Buddhism. There's no. So Buddhism is a method, is what do you call it? It gives you how to discover this true nature. It's like a boat. Buddhism is like a boat. So if you are this side and you have to go get the other side, you need a boat, right? So once you get other side, still you need a boat? No. Then you just leave behind the boat and then you are on the other shore. So Buddhism is like this teachings is like a boat. So once you attain enlightenment, there is no Buddhism. So you cannot attach to Buddhism. You know, if you think, oh, I'm a Buddhist, Buddhism is amazing, because that's attachment. So then if you have that mind, you cannot be enlightened, get enlightenment. Anyway, and that helps for a little bit wake up, right? Otherwise, I'm not sure we are communicating, you know.
There's no way of being enlightened without a teacher, though, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then eventually you have to give up your teacher.
And
You cannot take your teacher. I'm an ultimate teacher, yes. But relative teacher, you have to give up. You cannot take with you after, you know, all the way. And then forever. Relative teacher, no. Ultimate teacher is this realization. That's as I said, what really, that's our nature, who we are. So enlightenment is the result of exhaustion of selfish mind. Enlightenment is the realization of the truth. Okay? So many Buddhists, what?
Is it to say that in our mind we're realizing the truth, but then we have to carry that out into the world, right? We have to act in a certain way, right? I mean, it's one thing to understand it in our thinking, but then to carry it out into the world.
We have, you know, that's why we need two truth, relative truth, ultimate truth, relative bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta. Relative bodhicitta, you can help others through their practice. Ultimate bodhicitta, there's nothing exists. It's beyond everything. So if you have that kind of realization, still, can you help others? Yes. That's actually the best way to help others, because you have a capacity, limitless capacity, because you know what kind of teaching you need this moment. I can't tell your mind what you're thinking. Kind of sometimes scaring me, right? What he's thinking. He's thinking I'm a bad teacher. then when I have the wisdom mind, I know what you're doing. Through that, I can help you. Okay, don't think that. That's very bad. I'm not a bad teacher.
Control our thoughts.
Huh?
Control our thoughts.
Right. So, huh?
When Buddha said he was awake, how does that mean to us that he achieved it? He was awake,
Two wisdoms.
true wisdom.
Mhm. He developed two wisdoms: relative wisdom, ultimate wisdom. Right? So Buddha means awakened person. What else? Very good. I hope that's not my motivation. The essence of my teaching is today is like, I hope you are thinking about how to help others, not mixed with your ego mind, 100% like pure motivation. And that's what I'm hope for. Maybe you have something already. You have a commitment. That commitment is not very difficult for you to do every day, but very profound and vast and meaningful. I hope you have that kind of commitment, because of we're talking about how to help others. As ordinary people, we really can help others. We have the capacity to being a vegetarian. That's a very big thing. That's ordinary people, right? Ordinary people, we can do that. So, otherwise, Buddhist teachings are very profound, because through the Buddha's realization, remember, under the Bodhi tree, he realized that nothing compounded can permanently sort of exist. That's one wisdom. And he realized that no emotion leads us to the genuine happiness all the way and all the time. Okay? That is another wisdom. And he realized that there is no truly existent self and phenomena to be perceived. That is another wisdom. He realized that enlightenment is peace, because through his experience. So these realizations are what we call Buddha's wisdom. Buddha's wisdom, okay? Buddha was a human being, so we are human being. What is different? He can develop this, he can have these realizations. Why can't we? We can. But all of this realization Buddha had, realized under the Bodhi tree, were based on a kind mind, bodhicitta mind. He left from a royal family and he took nothing. Very difficult time, but based on motivation, based on a kind mind. He was happy. Even though when he was in royal family, his father was king of India. Of course, they have a lot of things, wealthy and everything. And Buddha kind of, sometimes he see other people are suffering, that makes him very uncomfortable. How can I help? He was thinking. And then his king, his father, wants him to be a next king. And Buddha, no. So his father tried to hide like all this unwholesome, uncomfortable situation. So he, put him a very beautiful place, and around everything is beautiful, everything. He enjoyed there few years, and then more and more he realized that there is a suffering in this world, and then he just couldn't handle it. So then there must be a solution for this suffering. So I have to find that. So that's why he left from royal family. And then he met few teachers. They gave him very good teachings, but still he sort of dissatisfied with their teachers. So then he just meditated day and night. And then finally, he got the realizations. Okay. Do you want to meditate for a few minutes? Very good. Okay. I have instructions for our meditation. Meditate, not the same we did last time. Meditate on concentration, okay? Concentration. Concentration means holding the mind on any object continuously, means without forgetting it, right? That is the characteristic of concentration, right? And the ultimate result of concentration is awareness. That's it. If you concentrate on any object or without object, whatever, forget nothing, not forgetting it, then at the same time, like automatically, you develop awareness. That is what concentration means. So we need awareness. Because when we get angry, we forget teachings, meditation, because we have no awareness that time. So we have to develop awareness. So you can pick this time, you can pick any object that you like, or no object, or concentrate on your mind. Whatever you want, you can pick any object. For example, just focus on, today we're talking about kind mind, right? Just focus on a kind mind. I mean, not the meaning of a kind mind, right? So then you just, the word, kind mind. Don't forget it, right? Just kind mind. Or, any other object. Just focus on it. Sometimes I meditate on the kind mind, not the meaning of kind mind, but just the word. I concentrate on it and put my mind on it. Means don't forget it. So just like this, but you're just focused inside this kind mind. So. That's just an example, but you can pick any object for your concentration. And relax your body and mind, try to bring your awareness and liberate your thoughts, okay? Liberate your thoughts. Don't loosen your self-awareness. In this way, your meditation can help you to discover and experience the inner peace. So that's one thing. If you don't like to focus on the object, whatever you pick, that you have the object, if you don't like focus on that, just to looking at the mind and then relax on it. That's it. That's meditation and concentration. Okay? Do you understand? Very good. If you fall asleep, that's okay too. 5 minutes and then wake up and then meditate and frequently, short time, right? That's very important. Especially you're very tired, you mentally maybe eat too much, something. So ego mind say, you're going to hear ego voice say, go to sleep, right? So just smile. Last time we had a very difficult meditation because we took a negative side. And this time we should take a positive side. So enjoy, smiling. At the same time, don't forget it, what you're doing. A kind mind or beautiful, you can take your object like any kind of, you can pick a person who are beautiful, handsome, or just an object like a beautiful gold candle, statue of Buddha, whatever. Or if you don't like, just focus on your mind, relax. Visualize nothing for a few minutes, okay?